In today's video, we're going to be talking about some non-gourmand vanillas. If you're interested, then just keep watching. Hi, my name is Ayesha from simplyayesha.com. Here on YouTube, I make videos about fragrance, beauty, luxury, and lifestyle. If those are things you're interested in, please consider subscribing. And if you are a returning subscriber, hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My last video was a video all about sugary, sweet, gourmand vanilla fragrances. So in today's video, we are going to talk about some non-gourmand vanilla fragrances. And just to clarify, all of these fragrances are vanilla forward. However, to me, the vanilla that is in them does not necessarily smell edible, or if the vanilla does smell somewhat edible, the total composition of the fragrance to me does not come off as edible. Now, of course, these things are going to be very subjective, but generally these are the vanillas that maybe are not as sweet, that don't smell like cake, that don't smell like cupcakes or cake batter or ice cream. These are vanillas that are more like the spice vanilla, like the vanilla bean, but not necessarily like vanilla dessert. Hopefully that makes sense to you all. I have 20 fragrances plus 2 bonuses to share with you all. So with that being said, I will not be spending a ton of time on each of these fragrances. We will be trying to get through them quickly so this video is not like 2 hours long. So let's go ahead and get into these fragrances. The first fragrance that I have here is from Byredo, and this is called Vanille Antique. So this is a beauty. I love this fragrance. It smells so good. It's so good. So again, this is a vanilla, like all of these fragrances in this video. I'm going to try to not be so repetitive, but remember, all of these are vanillas, okay? So anyway, this is a vanilla that is like a dry, almost like dusty, smoky type vanilla. So to me, the vanilla in here is a little sweet, but like I said, it's mainly dry. I feel like it's mixed with some woody notes. It reminds me of like an old school library, the way that it kind of smells dusty. But it's so good. Like there's sweetness to it, but somehow they have managed to balance like the sweetness, the dustiness, the smokiness, the dryness all together and like come up with something amazing. If you like fragrances like Maison Margiela, Whispers in a Library, you will definitely like this. They are not the same. This one is definitely more vanilla forward, while I feel like the Whispers in a Library is more woody. But if you like fragrances like that, then you will like this. And I feel like this is just so intoxicating for some reason. I like to wear this when it's cold. I find it to be cozy, but I also find it to be date night appropriate. I feel like it's quite alluring, and it's one of those fragrances that if you get a whiff of it, you'll want to keep smelling it. Now, I know Byredo gets a bad rap for having poor longevity. However, I will say that their extracts, well, this is the only extract that I have, but the extracts tend to perform a bit better. This one, I can probably get anywhere from like 6 to 8 hours out of, but it turns into a skin sit probably around the like 5-hour mark. I know that's not much for a lot of you all, but for me, I love the smell of this. So to me, it's worth it. This is not one that I pull for very often, and that may be because Jo Malone fashion, this fragrance smells like the notes. So I don't know what golden vanilla is, but the vetiver is definitely prominent in here. And to me, the vetiver and the vanilla sit neck and neck as far as prominence. So you have to like vetiver in order to like this fragrance, but it's gorgeous. I love the juxtaposition of the warm vanilla with the vetiver in here. And the vetiver in here to me smells dry and almost hay-like, but it doesn't smell extremely green. So sometimes I find vetiver can smell more like grass. And other times I find it smells slightly leaning more towards like hay. It doesn't smell like hay, but to me, it's like leaning towards that hay type smell as opposed to like green grass. Maybe it smells like dead grass, I don't know. Anyway, I like the way that this is done because it doesn't smell green, but it definitely is a dry, cold weather only vanilla, and it's beautiful. It is something that is unique in my opinion. It's not going to be for everybody, but I feel like the people that like this scent are going to fall in love with it because it is unique. It does project, it does last. Again, another brand that doesn't get like props for lasting. However, this one does last and it does project, and this is cold weather only for me. This is not something I could wear when it's hot because it projects way too much for that. But I love this one, it's beautiful. And if you want to smell unique and you want a vanilla fragrance, this is definitely one you should get your nose on. So again, that is Vetiver and Golden Vanilla by Jo Malone. This next fragrance is from Xerjoff, and this is Ivory Root. So this fragrance is part of the Join the Club collection, which is a collection of Xerjoff fragrances where Xerjoff does not actually release the notes of this fragrance. So the notes that you'll see on the screen for this are pulled from Fragrantica. However, I cannot guarantee the accuracy of this. So what this smells like to me is a spicy, like heavily spiced vanilla fragrance. And when I say spicy, I mean like when you first spray this on, ton of spice. To me, the vanilla doesn't really come out until the fragrance starts drying down. Now on paper, when I first got this, I could not understand the hype because I sprayed it on paper and all I got was spice. But on skin, the vanilla comes out a little bit quicker. Anyway, the spices that are in here is what really makes this unique. And I'm not sure what type of spice, but I can tell you for sure there is either bay leaf or basil in this fragrance, because those are the kind of spices that I feel like you don't really smell too much in perfumery. And so they really stand out to me as like kitchen spices, or Italian spices is generally what I call those type of spices. And that definitely stands out in this fragrance to me. In addition to that, I feel like there also could be a little bit of cardamom in here. Feels like there's some woods in here, maybe like sandalwood is what it smells like to me. And then of course this beautiful dry vanilla, but the vanilla in this smells thick, it smells rich. It also kind of smells like it could be a vanilla tonka mixture. This one is gorgeous. Again, cold weather only because it performs, y'all. This performs. This is not for the faint at heart. This is the vanilla for the girl who wants to try something daring, or the guy, because I feel like this is completely unisex. So if you're looking to try something different and you want to try a vanilla, check out this one. Again, this is Ivory Root from Xerjoff. This next fragrance is from YSL, and this is part of their private line. And this is Baby Cat. The most famous fragrance on YouTube, I feel like, this year. So Baby Cat, the elusive Baby Cat. In the States, really hard to get. Make sure you're following me on Instagram and you follow my broadcast channel on there, because I do check back for this like quite often. Selfridge just gets it sometimes. And so I check them quite often. When I say quite often, I'm talking about like almost every day. And if I see one in stock, I'll usually either send it to somebody that asks me in the DMs, or I'll send it to the broadcast group. So definitely make sure you're following me. Anyway, it's hard to get for us in the US. However, I've heard there's no problem getting it in other countries. So I still wanted to talk about this. Hopefully it doesn't make you upset. But don't worry, if you can't get Baby Cat, I have some alternatives for you. Check out my video up here talking about those alternatives. Hopefully I'm pointing to the right side. I always point, I think it's this side actually. Yeah, it's gonna be on this side, the link, that if you want to watch the video where I talk more about this. But Baby Cat is gorgeous. I love it. It is a deep, like sultry vanilla. So to me, the vanilla in here is quite like musky. So it kind of gives off this skin type vibe. It's also deep. It's also dark. It is spicy. Kind of smells even like a little bit smoky. And it's a very like dry scent. I love this. This is like sexy vanilla. Love it. Definitely for me, this is again cold weather only. I think this would be way too heavy to wear when it's hot. But this is the kind of scent that when I smell it, I don't want to stop smelling it. I do not want to stop smelling it. This is like my vibe. It has this leathery touch to it. And I'm starting to think of these as like suede vanillas. So that's the vibe that it gives off to me, like a vanilla, suede, woody, musky type fragrance. And it is so, so good. Not gonna be for everybody because I feel like certain people just are not gonna vibe with this type of scent category. But for me, it's quite addictive, and I would recommend this if you can find it for like a regular price. I wouldn't suggest going out paying $700 for it. No, absolutely not. But if you can find this for regular price, I would highly recommend it. So again, this is YSL Baby Cat. The next fragrance I have is from Penhaligon's, and this is the Audacity. So this is a newer fragrance, and again, I have talked about this in the video with Baby Cat because they are quite similar. So if you cannot get Baby Cat, get this one, okay? This one smells amazing as well. So for me, this is again a vanilla that's spicy, it's deep, it's dark, it has this leathery touch to it, but it also has like this bright kind of spice to it. I'm not sure what it is, but there is something that causes this to feel a little bit more lifted, more bright. It's also much lighter than Baby Cat. It kind of has like an aromatic vibe to it. And this is one that I can actually wear year round, and it gets me compliments, and it gives me those same type of Baby Cat type vibes without it being so heavy. So for me, this is actually an easier to wear version of Baby Cat. But if you've been trying to get your hands on Baby Cat and cannot, this would be a good alternative. I love it. And I love this scent profile enough to have both, especially because I feel like this one is just like much more of an easy reach for me. I would wear this on a date, but since I have Baby Cat, I'll probably stick to wearing Baby Cat out on dates and wear this one when I want the scent profile, but I don't want it to be as heavy, but it's gorgeous. Again, this is the Audacity from Penhaligon's. The next fragrance I have is from Initio, and this is Nuit et Confidences. So this fragrance to me is kind of more so a basic vanilla. So it smells like pure vanilla, but then add in some spice to it. So this one often gets compared to Spiritueuse Double Vanille from Gourmands. I did talk about that in my sweet vanilla fragrance video, but I reserved this one for this video because to me, this is not as sweet as Spiritueuse Double Vanille, but they do smell similar. So this is like that smoky, incensey, slightly boozy vanilla with a little bit of spice. Easy to wear in my opinion, can be worn year round. I obviously don't wear mine that much. You can see I only have a tiny dent, and I've had this for years. Like I've had this so long that when I purchased it, it was from Neiman Marcus, and I'm pretty sure they don't sell this line anymore. But anyway, it's beautiful. Bottle is gorgeous. The bigger bottle is gorgeous as well. It looks just like this, but it's taller. And I would highly recommend this if you're looking for a Spiritueuse Double Vanille alternative, or if you just like a good vanilla. It performs pretty well, and to me, it's quite addictive. So again, that is Nuit et Confidences from Initio. This next fragrance is from Amouage, and this is called Material. So this fragrance is my incensey resinous vanilla. It is deep, it is resinous, but it also has this musk to it. And the musk in here is not like one of those clean musk. It's one that I feel like leans slightly animalic. I wouldn't call this an animalic smelling musk in this fragrance, but it's definitely more skin-like than a clean musk. Anyway, the result is this beautiful, full, spicy, incensey vanilla. It's gorgeous. This one reminds me of the holidays. I typically only wear this one when it's cold, and for some reason, I don't know if it's because I believe this has frankincense in here. I'm assuming that's what reminds me of the holidays, but this is so good, y'all. This is one of those fragrances that I feel is a relatively easy reach from Amouage. I feel like Amouage is so complex, but this one to me is still complex, but I feel like it's going to be a lot easier to understand than a lot of fragrances from the brand. So if you're looking to try the brand, maybe try to get a sample of this. This goes on sale quite a bit now, but y'all know I don't really recommend blind buying, but if you're like me, I would just blind buy it, okay? But it's not 100% a safe blind buy because it is still Amouage. It has that twist to it. Not gonna be for everybody, but I think it's gorgeous, absolutely stunning. Of course, it performs very well as well. So again, that is Material from Amouage. This next fragrance is from Kalei, and this is Vanilla Royale Sugared Patchouli. I love the bottle on this. So this fragrance, I know it has vanilla in the name, but it also has patchouli, and that should be taken into consideration because this is not going to be for everybody. This is a complex scent. To me, when Kalei released this, it really surprised me because I didn't really expect it to be that complex, to be quite honest. However, it is, and I love it. To me, it is a vanilla, but you have this smooth patchouli to go along with it. It doesn't really smell earthy, but it definitely adds some depth in there. There's definitely something woody. I believe it's oud, or at least it smells like oud to me. And there's some spices. There's also this sweet, like boozy nature to this fragrance. So although I still classify this as a vanilla, it has quite a few other elements in it. If I had to compare this to any other fragrance that a lot of you all may know, to me, I feel like this is Kalei's version of Black Orchid. And y'all know I love Black Orchid, but to me this doesn't smell like Black Orchid, but it does have that same kind of like chocolatey patchouli vibe to it. And to me this smells like a more vanillic, easygoing version of Black Orchid. So if Black Orchid was just like a tiny bit too much for you, this may be one you want to check out. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody else say that, but it honestly reminds me of it. And y'all know I've been a Black Orchid fan for years. But yeah, this is gorgeous. It is its own fragrance. It stands on its own. And I feel like this was probably my favorite release from Kalei. Even now, I think since this came out, they've released like 5 more fragrances, or probably more, honestly, because they did the whole oud collection. So probably like 10 fragrances since this. But this one to me is the one that, the release that really like took me by surprise, and I absolutely love it. So a lot of people I don't feel like are really talking about this anymore, but it is a really great fragrance and it performs well. It lasts long. It's projecting wintertime appropriate, but you could probably get away with this on like a more dressed up nighttime occasion all year long. So again, this is Vanilla Royale Sugar Patchouli from Kalei. This next fragrance is a relatively new one to me, but I can tell y'all it's already a love. So this one is from Celine, and this is called Black Tie. So the name kind of gives you a hint of what type of vanilla fragrance it is, right? Black tie, like a formal vanilla. So to me, this vanilla is sweet, but it is balanced out with woodiness, a little bit of smokiness. It also kind of smells like there's a little tiny bit of incense in the background. But in my opinion, everything in this fragrance is kind of restrained. And I know when we think of restraint, we probably think of it negatively, but in this case, I feel like it really just works. This is the vanilla that I could definitely see on a man. I mean, I think it's unisex. Don't get me wrong. I don't think this is masculine, but if I was gonna recommend a vanilla fragrance for a man, like a straight vanilla, I think this would be one I could see because it has this beautiful restraint to it. And I also feel like that would allow you to be able to wear it to a formal occasion. Now for me, I wouldn't wear this on a formal occasion, but if I was like a signature scent type of person, I feel like this could literally go anywhere. This is a more serious vanilla, but at the same time, I wore this the other day wearing like a sweatshirt and jeans, and it felt cozy too. So it's so good. And it's kind of hard to understand why. Like, it's a vanilla. I have a ton of vanilla fragrances. This one is newer to me, but it is absolute love. And I will say, this is one I had wanted to try for a long time, but I was scared to blind buy it because I'm not familiar with Celine fragrances. I didn't know if it would just be another boring vanilla, but I was able to smell this in store when I went to Las Vegas, and I fell in love with it, and wearing it, even more in love. Now, this is not like a beast mode fragrance in my opinion. It kind of sits closer to the skin, again with a restraint, you know. It's not a skin scent, but it definitely gives you your own little personal bubble, but it does last a long time. So I love it, y'all. Cannot get enough of this one. So again, that is Celine Black Tie. This next fragrance is from Alexander J, and this is called Zafir Oud Vanille. So this fragrance I got earlier this year, and y'all, since I got it, I have been head over heels in love with it. So this fragrance is a vanilla, and it is a sweet vanilla, but it's combined with a beautiful oud. It's combined with coconut, and it doesn't smell like sunscreen coconut. This is like the meat of the coconut, which I feel like provides more of a texture than more so a tropical vibe. Hopefully that makes sense. But it also has this beautiful like kind of skin like musk in it. This is gorgeous. I cannot get enough of this. There's something about like the sweetness of the vanilla combined with those other elements that really just do it for me. This is one that I also feel I can wear year round. I wore this in the summer. I actually took this with me to a little staycation, and so it was hot. But I wore this and it worked out perfectly, y'all. But again, it also feels cozy and I can wear it right now. I feel like I want to put it on now just because I'm smelling it. It is so addictive to me, and I'm so glad that I tried this out because it was something that had been on my radar for a while, but I just always passed it up. It's been on my wish list. I just kept passing over it. I'm glad that I finally took the plunge and tried this because it is beautiful. And it definitely smells more expensive than what it was. So again, that is Zafir Oud Vanille from Alexander J. This next fragrance is from Erin, and this is called Tangier Vanille. Now this fragrance, I actually couldn't decide which video I wanted to put it in. If I wanted to put it in the Gourmand vanillas or if I wanted to put it in this video. And the reason why is because this vanilla in here is quite sweet. It reminds me of ice cream, like that type of sweetness. However, it is really well balanced with a musk, and the musk in here is definitely more skin-like, more slightly animalic as opposed to clean musk. But to me, they kind of like are head and head, so they tamper each other. So I decided to go ahead and put it in this because overall when I smell it, I don't want to eat it, but it does have this beautiful rich sweet vanilla. Honestly, I never expected much from Erin, okay? This company, I've never really expected much out of them. I remember trying one of their fragrances a while ago and it didn't do it for me, okay? So I was honestly very surprised when I got my nose on this because it's a lot deeper and a lot more complex than I expected from this brand. And I'm not saying it's like extremely complex, but it definitely is unique. I love this. It's quite addictive, and again, this is one I feel like I can wear a year round. So again, that's Tangier Vanille from Erin. This next fragrance is from Dipti, and this is Eau de Toilette, and it's the Eau de Toilette version. This also comes in an Eau de Parfum version, but I do not have that one. This one though is beautiful. So again, this is another vanilla, but this one is not really sweet. This one is more of a dry vanilla, but it has this beautiful aromatic nature to it. So it's very like lifted. It's very light smelling without being like a skin scent, but it smells like light. To me, it's one of those fragrances that I kind of classify as transparent. Now, because it is light and airy and aromatic, slightly green, this is one that I wear year round, and it's one of those fragrances that I reach for in the summer a lot because it gives me the vanilla vibes that I'm yearning for, but it never gets too heavy or overpowering or anything like that. It's gorgeous. If you haven't smelled Eau de Toilette, check it out. I feel like my description is not doing it justice, but it is an absolutely stunning scent. So again, that's Eau de Toilette from Dipti. This next fragrance is one of my faves. It's from Initio, and this is Anie. Now, we're really not going to spend a lot of time on this because this is a favorite of so many people here on YouTube. I know y'all hear about this a ton, but it is a beautiful green ginger vanilla scent. It has these citruses at the top that give it this brightness, that give it this lift. Then you combine that with the ginger that also help to provide more brightness, in my opinion. But the vanilla in here is so like thick and round. I always think of this as like surrounding me when I wear it. It performs really well. It's popular for a reason, and honestly, I feel like if you're a fragrance lover, there is no reason for you not to have tried this at this point because the way this thing goes on sale now, like I don't see how they can sell it for so cheap. I shouldn't call it cheap, but I don't see how you can now get a bottle of Anie for like less than $100 from discounters because it is so freaking good. Anyway, love this one. Strong, beast mode, unisex. Again, that is Anie from Initio. The next fragrance I have is from Gourmands, and this is Angelique Noir. So this has that beautiful signature Gourmands vanilla, but it is balanced out by a greenness. sweetness. The angelica note in this fragrance is pretty prominent when you first spray this fragrance. However, I will say on the skin, it smells completely different than on paper. So when I first got this, I tried it on paper and I was thinking, ooh, I made a mistake. It's way too green. It smells like grass. However, when I sprayed it on my skin, they balance so well because the Guerlain vanilla is sweet, it's silky, it's slightly powdery. The way this combines with that greenness, it just does something to me. It's gorgeous. I feel like this is a unique vanilla that has managed to stay unique even though it's been out a long time. You don't see a ton of copycats of this fragrance, and maybe that's because it's not gonna be a fragrance for everybody, but this is one of those fragrances that came out a while ago but still holds its own. So I definitely think this is one you should get your nose on if you get a chance. Again, that is Angelique Noir from Guerlain. This next fragrance is from Tom Ford, and this is Vanille Fatale. So this fragrance, I guess it was discontinued, but now it is being re-released as I'm filming this. I think it'll be re-released in like a week or so. So this is being re-released in a new package. Apparently the juice is still the same. They're also releasing another vanilla fragrance called Vanilla Sex. I will be getting that one. I've already smelled it. I was able to smell it in the store one time. So I will be getting that one. And when I get that one, we will be doing like a comparison of all the Tom Ford vanillas. However, I still wanted to include this in this video and one more Tom Ford vanilla I snuck in. Just because I felt like I would be lying if I didn't include this in my top like 20 non-gourmand vanilla. So the vanilla in this is definitely more of a, almost like a slightly cake batter vanilla, but not extremely sweet. So to me, it has that cake batter vanilla smell to it, but then you add in some nuttiness, because to me it smells like there's a little bit of an almondy undertone to this fragrance. You add in a lot of spice. So although I'm saying it kind of has that cake batter vanilla smell, it doesn't smell edible at all because there is a lot of spice in here, definitely some woodiness in the background. And the vibes that I get from this would be like date night. This to me is more date night than a cozy type vanilla. This is a going out type vanilla. Now I do wear it around my house too, just because I love the smell of it. But if I was gonna classify whether it's like cozy or going out, I would definitely put it in the going out category. It's gorgeous. I'm glad they're re-releasing it so a lot more of you all can get your nose on it. But I've heard people say they don't like this, so this is not going to be a safe blind buy. Definitely try to get a sample of this or smell in a store before you buy it, because although it's called Vanille Fatale, it is not like a boring vanilla. This is definitely a Tom Ford vanilla. So again, that's Vanille Fatale from Tom Ford. The other Tom Ford vanilla that I had to mention is Metallique. So Metallique is a vanilla scent that has these aldehydes in it that kind of give it a cold vibe. So think warm vanilla, but cold metal. And to me, it doesn't smell like metal. To me, it's more of like a coldness that it provides. And I love that juxtaposition. It's like warm with cold. So the vanilla in here is actually really, really pretty. It smells natural. It doesn't smell too sweet, but it definitely has the sweetness to it. But when you balance it with those aldehydes and whatever else is in this fragrance, it just smells next level to me. This is not gonna be for everybody, but this is one that I absolutely love. And it is, to me, it's so unique. I've heard that it smells similar to Kriegler Abracadabra, which I would love to get my nose on one day, but those prices, I can't do it. I can't do it. I know people say it's worth the money, but I ain't ready to spend Kriegler money. So you all are welcome to chime in if you want to compare Metallique and Abracadabra from Kriegler, but I can't really make that comparison because I've never smelled it. But to me, it smells quite unique. I've never smelled any other fragrance that smells like this. So definitely highly recommend. And this is not even in their private line, so it's part of their less expensive line. So again, that is Metallique from Tom Ford. My battery is about to die, so apparently I've been talking too long, so I gotta get through the rest of these pretty quickly. So this next one I've talked about a ton. This is from Initio, and this is absolute aphrodisiac. And to me, the name says it all for this fragrance. This is date night in, date night out. It is a musky and a malic vanilla. that is so addictive, so addictive. I cannot stress enough, if you like vanilla and you haven't smelled this yet, get your nose on it. I feel like we just gonna leave it here because I've talked about this fragrance so much. I also have an entire Initio video that you all can check out, but if you like vanilla, you have a responsibility to at least get your nose on this. Get yourself a sample, spray it on skin, and tell me what you think. So again, that is Absolute Aphrodisiac from Initio. This next fragrance is from Guerlain, and this is Mon Guerlain. Now I have the original, the EDP. I've heard a lot of people talk about the Intense, but I've actually never smelled that one. This one to me though is a beautiful balanced vanilla and lavender scent. So the lavender in here to me does not smell like cleaning products. It doesn't smell masculine. To me, it is just a very smooth lavender combined with that Guerlain vanilla. So the vanilla is a little sweet, a little powdery, overall very elegant. This is a scent that I feel like will work for so many different women, that will work on so many different occasions, and I honestly feel like this is purely a feminine scent. I really couldn't imagine a man wearing this, even though it does have that lavender that's usually associated with men's fragrances. For me, this is a feminine lavender through and through. So again, that is Mon Guerlain from Guerlain. This next fragrance is from Goldfield Banks, and this is Silky Woods. So this is a woody vanilla fragrance. The vanilla in here isn't really sweet at all. I mean, you definitely can smell it, but if you're expecting like a sweet vanilla mixed with woods, that is not what you're getting here. This is more of a dry unisex vanilla mixed with woodiness, mixed with something that smells a little bit leathery. And this is much more of a deep scent. So I can tell you this is not going to be for everybody, because people see this as a vanilla fragrance and automatically think that it's going to be sweet. This is not sweet, y'all. Like, it has a tiny bit of sweetness just because it has vanilla in it, but overall this is to me much more of a like woody, dry vanilla scent. It's gorgeous though. This is one that I definitely associate with cold weather though, because of that thick woodiness to it and the dryness of this fragrance. It honestly kind of smells like there's some oud in this fragrance as well, although I'm not sure that that's a note. But to me, I definitely get like a oudy, leathery, woody, vanilla type scent. Beautiful though. Again, this is Silky Woods from Goldfield Banks. This next fragrance is from Quintacanto, and this is called Mirabelle. Now this is one of the more unique vanilla fragrances in my collection, because I classify this as a vanilla, but in the dry down, it kind of ends up smelling like junior mints. So when I smell this, I get this beautiful vanilla scent, but there is a minty essence to this, and mint can go left for me usually, because I either associate it with like toothpaste or with men's fragrances. But there's something about the sweetness of this vanilla and the mint that is not too much that really just works. To me, this fragrance reminds me of like aromatherapy. It's an awakening type fragrance. I love it. It's gorgeous. I'm sure there are other notes in here as well, but vanilla, mint, and citruses are really the kind of notes that I can pick up. And this is just super, super unique. This is one you have to get your nose on. I know it won't be for everybody, but I promise you, if you get a chance to try this on skin. Do not just smell it on paper, because on skin, the vanilla really comes out, and it's one of those like enveloping vanillas. If you smell it on paper, to me, it doesn't smell as vanilla. Like, you still smell vanilla, but it's not as prominent. And so maybe you may be turned off because that mint is really prominent when you first spray it. However, on the skin, it all just meshes together and smells amazing and quite unique. So again, this is Mirabelle from Quintacanto. So that was my last real fragrance. I do have 2 honorable mentions that I'm gonna go through really quick, and hopefully I can get this video done before my battery runs out. Anyway, the first honorable mention is Vanilla Oud from Kalei. This is part of their new Oudgasm collection that came out. And the reason it's a honorable mention is because I haven't actually full body worn this one yet. I sprayed it on my arm one day, and I have to tell you, I love the smell of this. It is a silky, like vanilla and oud scent, and the oud in here is very like easy to understand. This is the type of oud that I feel like would be for the person that you're just trying to start getting into oud. It's gorgeous. Love it, but again, I have not worn it full body, so I don't know how it performs or anything like that. So that's why it's an honorable mention. And this last fragrance is another honorable mention because again, it is very new to my collection. I did get a chance to wear this one time, but I still feel like I don't know it enough to really like include it on the list. But I have to tell y'all, it was love at first sniff. So this is from BDK, and this is Vanille Leather. I have been waiting to try this since I saw the promo images from it, and recently it just became available in the United States, so I had to scoop up a bottle, and I have to tell y'all, I am not disappointed. You get vanilla, of course, because it's in the name. You get leather, because it's in the name. But to me, the leather is not overpowering. It's more of like a sweet, easygoing, luxurious leather. There are also some spices in here, and there's something in here that makes this smell like a little bit bright when you first spray it. But again, this is an honorable mention because I don't really know how to explain this fragrance yet, but I will tell you, I love it, okay? I worn it one time and it was a love at first sniff for me. So again, this is Vanille Leather from BDK. So this video is super long, but I hope you all enjoyed it. These are my top 20 non-gourmand vanillas. Let me know if you've tried any. Let me know what fragrances you would add to this list, and let's talk about it in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I upload videos every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday, so I have tons of content you can check out on your free time. Also, check out my website, www.simplyayesha.com. Make sure you get on my email list over there. If you want to connect more, follow me on Instagram. I'm in my stories almost every day, and I love to chat with y'all in my DMs. Also, follow me on TikTok for easygoing, fun content. I hope you all enjoyed this video as much as I enjoy making it. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.